It feels like a really modern problem, doesn't it? What happens when faith gets put up for sale? But this question is actually ancient. And believe it or not, the Bible has some incredibly direct and pretty powerful warnings about treating godliness like it's a get-rich-quick scheme. So we're going to break that all down. Let's dive in.
Okay, we're kicking things off with this fiery moment from the book of Acts. You've got this guy, a magician named Simon, who sees the apostles doing these incredible miracles. And he's so blown away, he literally pulls out his wallet and says, "Hey, I want to buy that power." And the apostle Peter's response? It is just swift and absolute. This isn't just him being angry. No, this is him drawing a line in the sand. God's gifts are not for sale. Period.
And that right there, that brings us to our first big idea. This whole concept of turning something sacred, something holy, into a simple product, that's really at the heart of the whole problem. And the Bible treats this as a truly, truly dangerous transaction. So let's give this a name. Let's call it spiritual commerce. It's that moment when someone looks at God's power or His grace or a spiritual calling and all they see is a price tag. It takes what should be a sacred trust and twists it into a cold, hard business deal. And as you're about to see, this isn't just a one-off story about some magician. Oh no, it's a warning that just echoes all through the scriptures.
Okay, so this is where it gets even more interesting, because this mindset, it isn't just a one-time mistake somebody makes. The Bible actually identifies it as the core motivation for what it calls false teachers. And it doesn't just vaguely warn about them either. It gives us a very specific playbook for how to spot them.
And here it is, the playbook laid out for us by the Apostle Peter. And it's incredibly practical when you think about it. Look at this. They don't shout their agenda from the rooftops, right? They secretly introduce these destructive ideas. And their motivation? Well, it's greed, plain and simple. And what are their tools? Deceptive words and, get this, fabricated stories, all designed to manipulate and exploit people.
And this slide just cuts right to the chase. Their goal isn't truth. It's not about helping people grow spiritually. The real end game here is profit, influence, and control. Spirituality just becomes the mask they wear for some very worldly ambitions.
And the Bible is just blunt about the consequences. For anyone who exploits others this way, judgment isn't some far-off, distant threat. The text says it's certain and it's already in motion. Now that is a truly sobering thought. But the issue goes even deeper than just obvious financial scams. The Bible also warns us about a much more subtle kind of deception. This huge disconnect between what somebody says and what they actually do. Wow, this comparison from the book of Titus is just so powerful. Look at this. On one side, you have the public claim, "Oh yes, I know God." But on the other side, you have the private reality, where their actions completely, totally deny their words. And the text makes it crystal clear. What you do, that's the ultimate truth teller.
All right, now we come to what might be the most chilling warning of all. And this one comes directly from Jesus himself. And honestly, what he says here is genuinely shocking.
Just think about this for a second. What could possibly be more convincing than performing miracles in God's name? I mean, that seems like the ultimate proof of faith, right? But Jesus says something just incredible. Even that isn't the real test.
I mean, just look at this spiritual resume. "Lord, Lord, didn't we prophesy in your name? And in your name drive out demons? And in your name perform many miracles?" These are not small claims, you guys. These people sound like they're at the absolute peak of spiritual power. They are totally confident that they're going to be welcomed by God. And then the verdict, and it is absolutely devastating. "I never knew you." Now notice what he doesn't say. He doesn't say their miracles were fake. He doesn't argue with their list of accomplishments. He just says, "I don't have a relationship with you." Their powerful actions were totally disconnected from a genuine heart of obedience. So, after all of these really stark warnings, where does that leave us? Well, the Bible points toward a kind of faith that's completely different. It's a faith that simply can't be bought or sold or performed on a stage.
And this is really the bottom line of it all. True faith? It's not a product, and it is not a performance. God isn't looking at the impressive titles or the size of the crowd. No, He's looking so much deeper. He's looking at the things that you just can't fake, the true condition of our heart, the actual fruit our lives produce, and a real, genuine pattern of obedience.
So this all leads to a kind of personal call to action for every one of us. It's really an invitation to guard our hearts, to make sure we value character way more than charisma, to follow the truth itself, not just impressive personalities.
To regularly turn that lens inward and examine our own lives. And finally, to really focus on making sure our actions line up with our words.
And that brings us to our final and maybe the most important question. It's one for each of us to really think about personally, and it just cuts through all the noise. Is my faith a performance for an audience? Or is it a life that's quietly surrendered to God even when absolutely no one is watching? Now that is a question worth sitting with.